Welcome to Clever Title Pending with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, and former mortician's assistant. Don't send him title recommendations because Brian knows exactly what he's doing. So just sit down and look pretty as Brian K. Morris scrolls through your comments and plays with his mouse. Join him on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, for Evening Pandemonium and Moonlight Madness.
And why wait until the evening when you can have me on Saturday afternoon? Just when you think it was safe. Hi, I'm Brian K. Morris, as the Meredith's voiceover said, and we're here on the Indie Event with a very special episode of Clever Title Pending. And for a very special episode, we got to have very special people. And that is why it is now my privilege, yes, my privilege, to bring aboard Eric S. Hawkins, the writer and artist of the fantastic Zombies of the World of Oz and other publications, and the amazing Christian Basil, who, as you just saw him waving his Dalek in front of your face, who is the boss behind the Traveling TARDIS. And yes, I'm in lieu of a pen. And Meredith is going to turn in here, and she's going to be like,
"Somebody take a screenshot right now."
Yeah. Just did. Anyway, we all have to have something nearby. Eric, if you want to grab something to hold on to.
You want to grab something?
And it's starting already. Anyway, we are privileged to have I am privileged, actually, to have these wonderful people here. Hold on a second here. I was taught this earlier this morning, so... Oh, it's the little one there. There we go. And then adding...
It is the child.
Yes, and hold on here. We're going to... I'm never going to get this right.
Boomer. You want me to try it? I think.
Really? Okay, Boomer.
Let me try this.
Okay. Right.
Never mind. It's just not going to work.
Here we go.
No better than I am. There we go. Aww. Eric, we are here as a group to help Eric with his Funko Pop addiction. Everyone knows that if you have 10 or more, you are horribly addicted. Now, I only have 9, and I understand the standard's going to change once I get that next one. But anyway, I got personal with Eric now.
I have 124.
Oh dear God!
I told people. I specifically said, if you're going to give me a gift of any Whovian kind in Doctor, do not give me a Funko Pop, because I cannot. It's kind of like Pringles. I can't get one. I'm going to get the others, and surely enough, somebody bought me 2 just to tee me off. And then I found out from other vendors and stuff like that, they were like, somebody had a discount. Said, "Yeah, I'm getting rid of all these Doctor Who ones for like $5 a piece." I'm like, so I'm broke.
I understand.
That's how it starts.
yeah. The first one's always free, not unlike comics and hard drugs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, we are privileged to have Eric Hawkins with us, and he is a very talented writer and artist, and he's growing all the time, and he is actually in the last 13 hours of an Indiegogo campaign for the second issue of the Zombies of the World of Oz, which I'll let Eric talk about. Eric, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody how darned awesome you are?
I am really awesome. I'm Eric Hawkins, the author and artist of the Zombies of the World of Oz, which we are on our second issue, which we are crowdfunding now. We had a successful Kickstarter last month, raised $4,500, $4,495. That was $5 short of the $4,500. With 158 backers, and we are currently on Indiegogo, and we end now in 12 hours. We raised $570 over there, and then we have 21 backers. Now, the Zombies of the World of Oz is a story of Dorothy Gale, grown up, more mature, just released from the insane asylum, and she has to travel back to Oz.
All right, excellent.
And I hear a dog barking.
Yeah, and I'm hearing thunder outside. So, Christian, I'm glad you're here. Anyway, Christian,
That's Toto. Toto sees a tornado. We're doomed.
Yeah, that's right. We are up the creek here. And Christian, why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Sir, yeah, my name is Christian Basil. I'm the creator and never mind. I shouldn't do this anymore. I've been doing it all day.
Take two.
I'm the creator. Yeah, take two. Click, click. My name is Christian Basil. I am the creator and founder of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show and the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS Facebook, and the TARDIS icon, who's still at Melanie Dean's house. So I have baby TARDIS, just like Eric has baby Yoda. So I've been using a makeshift TARDIS to go on my adventures while I've been going places. But yeah, the Legend, Facebook.com, the Traveling TARDIS. We do pretty much a weekly radio show, or best when our celebrities want to come on, and we have weekly discussions about Doctor Who and the Whoniverse. And Sarah's on, so we're already started. So this is good stuff.
Yeah, some of our Nevermorians are showing up, like Cindy Kemp, glad to see you here. Mwah. And Philip Thompson. Hey, Brian, how are you? I am awesome. Philip, how the heck are you? And everybody, of course, Carl Whitsman is saying hello to people. And Cindy Kemp is saying hello back, or howdy to be more precise. And Jen Thompson at the Indie Author Book Expo in West Des Moines, Iowa. Please show up at that. Check out that event page there. And Jen, I hope everything's going well for you out there. And, of course, the one, the only, Sarah. Mm-hmm. Hi, darling. How you doing? And then there's that troublemaker, Rob Anderson. Oh, hi, Rob. How you doing? And I should be nice now. He's saying nice things about me. Yes, thank you, Rob. Just like
he's slacking right now.
No, he's taking care of me because he knows how darn talented I am.
I can't reach you now.
That's not an accident, you know. I'm going to be pointing at something pretty soon. And Rob, thank you very much for putting up my my stuff there. Now, everyone, I really want you to pepper Eric with some questions here because, like I said, he has risen quite a ways in the last 5 years since we've met. Is that sound all right?
Yeah, I believe it was about 5 years ago. You and I did the Celebration Comics #1 with a Nature Boy story. I mean, there was 2 stories in there. We are 10 pages of this 20-page comic book. I met Sean Delaney on digital webbing. He was looking for artists to work on this book with him. So that's how we hooked up. He hooked me up with you, and then we started hanging out and doing stuff.
That's right. That's true. See, and that's part of this networking thing. And since then, we've worked on the Ghostly Tales of Spencer Spook, a revival of the Golden Age character. See, that's why that's why I wanted you on, because I know that I will misplace stuff and you will have it handy because you're far more organized.
I do. I'll pull it off the wall. Hold on here.
Oh, okay.
There we go. And meanwhile, we do want to say the new hash. There we go. See, and that is the variant cover that Mr. Hawkins did himself there. And
that is one of the variant covers we had.
Yeah, that's right. And but anyway, Eric's running in fast company because the other artists were Ken Wheaton, Scoot McMahon, and the great Ty Templeton. So and then the next thing we did, yes, of course, was Celebrity Ghost Hunters with Kadrolsha Ona Carol, based on a real life incident. And that book should be on sale if you want to contact Kadrolsha Ona. Plus, we are going to be working on another book together once Eric gets a hole in his schedule, which right now you're a busy kind of guy. You don't have many of those.
I try to stay busy. You know, as soon as I finished up the Zone for World of Oz #2, I started writing the second issue, even though it was already plotted out. But I did have to detail everything, you know, the scenes and all that. And then I'm supposed to work on Broke Down and a 4 Dead Bodies story with Travis. I'm going to be his artist on his next book.
Very cool.
So that should be fun. And after that, you know, we got to get together and do something.
Well, we will. We will. In fact, Philip Thompson has a question for you off the bat. Eric, what is the best comic book you two ever created? That's an interesting question.
Oh, you know, I think I like the Nature Boy story.
I did too.
The second one we started doing. I like the first one as well, but the second one I really enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah, I did too, and especially seeing how your art style developed from that very first time, and your ink style, it became a lot more fluid.
Yeah.
And it's just and plus it's in color, which doesn't hurt anything either. So I'd have to agree with you, and I'm looking forward to finishing the book with you.
Can I change that question a bit there?
By all
Eric,
means, sir. Please.
Not saying what the best one is, but I'm going to change the question. What's the proudest comic book you've created? What makes you proud of what you do?
It has to be the Zombie World of Oz for me. I mean, it's been a labor of love. I started working on the story right about the same time I met Brian, and didn't get it the first issue published until last year. Then the second issue is at the printer right now, and I'll have it next week. But just working on that story, and it being a continuation of the story of Oz, not just a retelling of it. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of it. Like I think I told Brian the other day, I was driving home from work last week, and unfortunately, when I'm driving, that's when I have the best ideas.
Yeah.
So
and not
I was looking for I was looking for an app.
Afford to write them down.
I was looking for an app on my phone when I got home that I need to have on there so I can just record when I'm.
Hold on a second.
Around.
I'm going to make a turn. I just got it. I just got to remember what I just.
But officer, I had an idea.
I was doing all the dialogue for a scene in my head and how it would play out in issue 3, and it was so emotional to me. I started crying while I was driving while I'm doing this scene in my head, and all the dialogue. It was a little embarrassing, but yeah.
Manly tears. They were manly tears.
Yes.
We would have known unless you told us. Your secret was safe.
Let me tell it to you. And Cindy Kep has a question here, and we'll let Eric, because I know Eric's done his research. Is Oz now public domain?
Oh, that's a good question.
All of Baum's books are in the public domain. Not all of the Oz books are in public domain. So The Wizard of Oz is in public domain, and anything regarding the movie is not. So Ruby Slippers, stuff like that is not. The how they look on screen is not in public domain. So stuff like that. But the actual Wizard of Oz is in public domain. You can't use any characters that were created after Baum. Like I think his kids did. One of his kids did some books, and some other people did some books. Those characters are not in public domain.
Mm-hmm. Right, and there are a number of films that were made during the silent era of movies that some of which Baum wrote and produced that are in the public domain. And if you search on YouTube, you should be able to find them, including one that features a younger Oliver Hardy of Laurel and Hardy fame. It's quite interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it was the one made in 1916, I want to say. I think he played the lion. He's not terribly likable, though. And Sarah says, Eric makes works I'm interested in, most definitely.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Sarah.
That is very cool. And Teresa Dunn, hello, afternoon, Brian and guests. Hello, Teresa Dunn. Teresa will be joining me tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for a special authors roundtable that we'll be having here at IndieVent. So please check IndieVent with 2 E's. .com for the latest schedule, please, and share this video when you see it. All right, because we want to let more people know about Eric Hawkins. Cindy Kep asks, "Do you maintain the political commentary in the original books?" Oh, that's a super.
No, not really. No. I mean, the books for me are just, it's really not about a lot of zombies. There's zombies in it, but the story doesn't really involve around the zombies. No, it's just a fun book. There's no political agenda or political commentary in it really at all, unless I'm missing it. Brian's read them both. Did you see anything, Brian?
No, I didn't. No. I'm kind of the line editor in this thing, and we maintain. This has been a source of contention between Eric and myself about the full number of zombies. I'm checking with the Federal Trade Commission. Check their records; they have zombie quotas, and so I made sure that Eric had the proper number of zombies in his first issue, and if it takes the rest of his life, he's going to get even. I just know this. Anyway.
Yeah. Brian had me add a zombie on page 16, and I know that because page 17 is on the wall behind me here. I know it's the page right before that one.
What is this? A Screen Actors Guild? It's like you need, if you're going to have this story, you need a certain amount of zombies, and they got to be this type of zombies.
He had no complaints about issue 2 about the number of zombies.
It's okay.
Perfectly zombified. Perfectly zombified.
Yeah.
No, it was a dramatic, and Eric told me when we started out, Brian, you're just to check my copy. You're just to check the punctuation, the spelling. I don't want to hear a damn thing about the art. You're not going to correct my art. And then I said, well, you'd have a little bit more potential for if you foreshadow the zombie's appearance. By the time the person turns the page, they're going to be properly like on edge at the end of page 50 and going into page 60. And I gave him this perfectly good reason, and I could almost hear Eric's teeth grinding as he drew that sequence. So, and I don't blame him.
It's probably one of my favorite panels of the whole book, just because of how well I drew hands holding. Because it's Dorothy holding the Scarecrow's hand. It just turned out perfect, and that doesn't always happen when you're drawing. I mean, I could look at stuff and go, "Oh, did I draw that? That's horrible." And it's almost 90% of the book for me, but everybody else loves it, so that's good.
That's what,
and I was so
that's
happy.
What
I was so happy. So happy with that panel. Then he goes, "No, you should put a zombie right in the background there." I'm like, what? No.
It's not like I said, Eric. That hand is really good, but there needs to be a zombie there. Right in front of her. I was trying to make it as painless as possible. I told him silhouette. Don't waste a lot of time on this thing. We got a book to put out. Don't waste everyone's time. Toto was a cow in one of the first silent movies, says Matthew Harris. That's right. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. And Teresa Dunn says, I would like to see a comic book made about me. That would be so cool. Well, we'll put you in the queue. Who knows? Well, Eric does have a thing in the current Zombiful World of Oz and in Celebrity Ghost Hunters, our previous collaboration. He did draw some real life people into the book. So you never know, Teresa. You may wind up in one of these extravaganzas one of these days. So, just eat all your vegetables, say your prayers at night, and it could happen. Sarah says, to Matthew, with Toto being a cow, did they use a heifer? Sorry, had to. No, you didn't, but we're glad you did. Okay, and Molly Daniels says, afternoon. So when I get back to my zombie storyline, I need to have more than 4 or 5 zombies in order to maintain the quota. Well, it depends on how many pages there are, because it's a per page kind of thing. We figured this would be the easiest way to get them in. And if I keep talking real fast, nobody will notice that I'm rolling up my pants legs because it's too late to save the shoes. Pops Van Zant, and I'm glad you're here, Pops. Good to see you, man. I am a character in Mojo Risen, but it is not based on me. Oh, that's interesting.
That's nice.
That is cool. That is very cool. So, how easy was it for you, Eric? After having worked with other writers, i.e., me, was it for you to get into the scripting area yourself? Because I will tell the world, you did a fantastic job on both issues. You really did.
Well, yeah. I'd say my biggest worry was when I sent it to Brian the first time to edit. He was going to come back and tell me, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You should do this, you should do that. And he really came, mostly it was just punctuation. I mean, there was maybe a couple sentences you said maybe you should rewrite these, but it was almost all punctuation. So I just don't know where to put commas. I have apparently run-on sentences.
Yeah.
But, falling into that, it wasn't that bad.
No, you did a good job. Your syntax was good, and you balanced me out. I find a lot of people have the problem with not using enough commas, whereas I more than make up for everyone. Like I would put a comma after every word, just to be safe. But no, do you think writing your own work is going to be something you're going to continue to do in the future after Zombiful World of Oz? Because I know you have further plans.
Well, I don't know if the Zombiful World of Oz will ever end. I mean, I've already plotted out issue 4, which will be a standalone story based on the Tin Man and how he got his original heart back. And then I'm going to jump into another 3-arc story. Definitely with, well, I won't say the characters. The Wheelers are going to be involved in that. If any of you know who the Wheelers are, and they're just evil, but there's going to be some other people involved in that too. I'm bringing other characters in that will probably make a brief appearance in issue 3. But I do want to get the Emerald Scarab launched next year as well, which is more of a superhero comic book, and that just kind of popped in my head this last year. We were doing I do a show almost every week, Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition. There's 8 artists, and we're on a live show on YouTube, and we just draw characters. You know, we have a theme for each show, and this show was draw 2099 Marvel characters that were never done as 2099 characters. And I did Moon Knight because I'm a big Moon Knight fan. I love Moon Knight. And so I did like a 2099 version of Moon Knight, and it looked so good. Even the host said, you should repurpose that into something else. I was like, you're right. So I did. I turned him into the Emerald Scarab, which he's based, you know, he's kind of influenced by Moon Knight, of course, but he will launch, when I do that, it's going to launch my own creator-owned universe of characters, which there's another book, Code of Silence, the Hounds of Hell. I'm sorry, what is the name of that book? Hounds of God, sorry.
Well, thank you.
Which is about two werewolf priests who go out hunting monsters, kind of like in the vein of Supernatural, a TV show. But they're priests, they're not brothers, and they're werewolves, so they're monsters themselves. And that's based on a story out of real old Europe about this crazy guy who thought he was a werewolf, and he was convicted and kicked out of the church. And that he said once a year he'd go down to hell and fight the witches for the harvest.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Now, how many books a year do you think you could produce in a perfect world?
In a perfect world, I'd like to do 3. And that's if I write and draw them all. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. So I might actually, some of these books, I might be looking for artists.
Ah, okay.
So yes, I'm going to kick off the artist duties to someone else.
There you go. I was waiting for him to say writers, and I'm like,
Depending on what you're doing.
Well, you know, maybe writers and artists. I mean, if I, give the writers the, how I want the characters done, how I want the stories to go, give them the outline and let them go with it. I think that's a good possibility.
Well, cool. Very cool. And Pop Van Zant says the profile pic is the character.
Oh.
That's a good option.
First of all, 2 rows back, yes, I would buy the heck out of a Sarah comic book. I would get the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I would be traumatized. I would love to have that PTSD for a long time for the rest of my life there.
Incurable with any luck. And then we go into the spine licking thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then we lose it there.
Yeah.
Hey,
and Cindy Kemp is a character, not in a comic, but in real life. I'm a real character. Yes, you are, and you have a lot of character. And Carlene says, Cindy, isn't that a prerequisite for being in this group? It does seem to be, yes. And I do believe so. Yes, she is right. So anyway, I would just tell me what you want. Well, there we go. Thank you, Philip Thompson. So Christian, do you have a question at this point?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Eric, here we go. Just give me the sales pitch. I'm somebody who's never read your stuff and doesn't know anything about you. I'm walking up to your booth and I do see the Zombiful World of Oz. How would you pitch that to me, to somebody who's never read your comics? How would you try to... Thanks, Sarah. You just had to interrupt me with Sarah and licking spines, and that's where I've lost my train of thought. Sorry, Eric. That's it. I think the question was...
And where do licking spines lead to?
Yeah, exactly. That's how we have the Zombiful World of Oz. But anyway, somebody who's never read your stuff, how would you entreat them? And plus, one of the challenges, I think, as being somebody who's picked the topic of zombies, it's everywhere. It's Walking Dead. It's in a zillion movies. How would you package to somebody and say, okay, how is this comic different than anything that I've seen out there in your interpretation to want me to buy this particular comic?
Well, the Zombiful World of Oz is a continuation of the story of Baum's The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's grown up. She's been in an insane asylum for the last 10 years because her family thought she was crazy. She's been released. She's healthy now. She no longer believes in the land of Oz.
And she changed her name to Sarah, but that's another story.
Yes. And then she is Oz comes and finds her in the form of zombies that are trying to take her back to Oz. Then 3 heroes from her past come to save her. That's kind of my pitch on it. I mean, it's a continuation of the story. There's really, I mean, it's a zombie story. There's zombies in it, but it's mostly about the characters, not the zombies.
Got it. Okay. So that's the good stuff there.
Yeah, and it is a very character-driven book. There is action in it. There's pretty girls, if you like that sort of thing, and creatures and stuff. There's just a lot there for people to really get to know and really enjoy. Now, we have to take this. This is an emergency here. I missed the beginning of the show, says Meredith Walgren. Did someone invoke Buttbeard yet?
No, not yet, but thanks, Meredith.
Yeah, it's the word of the day and going to be an Easter egg for the replay. And Pops Van Zandt did his due diligence. Buttbeard. This is something that came out during Meredith's show this morning. We'll try to sneak in Buttbeard, hashtag Buttbeard, as much as we can. So, folks, don't forget, in all of your correspondence for the next 3 months, hashtag Buttbeard. Anyway, and licking spine, says Sarah leads to the abyss. You never know. See, now we have something to look forward to. And good pitch, Eric, says Sarah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Now, one thing that gets me is the fact that you run some really good Kickstarter campaigns, and you were such a help with the Spencer Spook one that we did 2 years ago. How did you research how to do a very effective Kickstarter campaign, and what lessons have you learned between issues 1 and 2?
Well, I looked at a lot of videos on how to run a Kickstarter campaign. And everybody's got a different way to do it. There's so many different ways to do it. Then I started looking at other Kickstarters, seeing what was funding, what wasn't funding. I started looking at what they offered, how they worded things, what kind of images. Did they have a video? Was it just someone just talking in the video, not showing the art? One of the key points, if you're going to have a video, show off the art. Have the art available, show off the art. Tell everybody how many pages it is, when it's coming out, how much you have done. Will you get it done on time? I mean, that's a key point in crowdfunding. There's so many books out there. I mean, I'm waiting on books that are 6 months late. I got one I'm waiting on that's over a year late. If you can get your books out on time, people will come back and fund you again. Am I going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars? Probably not. I mean, I don't have that kind of fan base. I don't have a YouTube channel with a large fan base, and that's what helps on Indiegogo over Kickstarter. Kickstarter, people will find you out there. People go there to look for comic books. You can have your fan base, that's fine. Indiegogo, you have to bring the fan base with you because people really don't go out there and look for comic books. So Kickstarter was much better to me than Indiegogo. I mean, we funded on both, but on Kickstarter, I funded in 7 hours, 3 times the amount I was looking for on Indiegogo, which took 30 days to fund. So, and in addition to that, have all your ducks in a row. You got to know what your funding is going to be. You got to know what your production costs are going to be. If you're going to offer, the little extras and bonuses like Emerald trading card or an Emerald bookmark. Know what that's going to cost you. Offer different packages, different price levels for people. Offer a digital. Some people say you shouldn't offer digital, but I think you should offer digital. I mean, one thing, it's pure profit for you. All you're going to do is email it out. But I mean, then you always have that if you need to send it to someone as well. I mean, things like that. I've been working in Excel for probably since Excel started, so I keep an Excel sheet. I mean, everything I'm going to offer, how much it's going to cost me, what my profit margin would be on it, what Kickstarter is going to pull out. I mean, I know almost down to the penny what a crowdfunding project is going to make me after I get the fundings.
Very cool.
Learning what you've learned now from Kickstarter, what are some of the things? So I know there are some things you just mentioned, but there are other things that you're going to be implementing. You say, listen, I learned from this Kickstarter. Now, when I do Kickstarter again for the next project, this is what I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm going to put out there or change or even test and say, listen, I didn't do it this time, but now in this Kickstarter, I'm gonna try this.
Well, definitely. From the first one to the second one, I learned of media mail. I mean, that's a huge savings in shipping. So on my third book, I probably lower the shipping. The shipping doesn't need to be as high as I have it listed. I mean, I cover my, not just the shipping, but the boxes, the tape, the labels, what the shipping and handling. Yeah. With my very first one, I didn't factor in labels, which, it's not a lot. I mean, it only had like 86 backers, but that was like almost $30 in labels, close to that, around that. But The way I fund, I don't make a lot of money off this. I mean, not much at all. I mean, and most of us small indie creators, we don't make a lot of money off these crowdfunding projects. Talking with Andy last time I was on with Brian, Andy just wants a book. He doesn't want all the little extras with it, because I have trading cards and bookmarks and postcards and stickers and buttons, all kinds of stuff. Some people just don't want that. And I've been talking to some other people lately. They're not really interested in that stuff. They just want a book. Maybe throw in a sticker. They kind of like stickers, but no, the bookmarks. Some people point out to me, it's a 20, 40 page book. Why do I need a bookmark? I should be able to read it in one sitting, unless I'm really slow. Like, that's very true. But my metal bookmark, you can use as a weapon.
yes, I have to be careful of that thing. That's going to open up a vein one of these days.
So definitely on my third campaign, I'm probably lower the shipping cost a little bit, because I believe I've been doing $8 for shipping. I could probably do that for $5 easily. So I'll probably lower it to $5. I don't have a large profit margin on the books. I print extras and take to shows, and that's where I try to make the money up at. What else is there? I'll offer definitely some levels that don't have anything with it. I mean, just the book, bare bones. Just, you want the book, you get the book. I mean, you'll get, if you back the book, you'll get the stretch goals as well. I mean, which will be maybe some extra stuff. Like, I backed a book the other day. I just got in the mail today. Well, I guess it was about 6 months ago. That I didn't notice when I backed it, that it did not include the stretch goals, because I didn't back at a higher tier. If I was spent $5 more on that book to back at a higher tier, I would have got stretch goals as well. And there was tons of good stretch goals. I was looking forward to it until I started reading. I was like, oh man, I'm not going to get none of these. There was a poker chip and stuff like that. It looked cool. Wow. I was like, but it looks like a fun book, though. It was another Oz-based book. And if you want me to back your books, do an Oz book.
There we go.
I was about to say that what you're supposed to do is with the bookmark, you say, oh yeah, well, there's that feature-length hard copy that's going to be coming out that you're going to buy that you'll need that bookmark for. So all that swag that comes in beforehand, you can use it for after when the bigger stuff comes out.
Right, or support some of your friends in other fields. This your bookmark would fit wonderfully in this book here. Never forget to take a chance to promote. Which, speaking of which, Matthew Harris would like to know where we can get Eric's book.
Well, right now you can get on Indiegogo for the next 12 hours. You can get issue 1 and 2. Or you can get digitally, you can get physical. After that, you'll have to catch me at a show, unless I reopen my Etsy store, which I never sold anything on the Etsy store. So I just kind of let it lapse.
I was going to say, the only thing I know of that you got from the Etsy store was a C&D from Disney.
Yeah. Okay, so I was selling prints on the Etsy store, but no comic books. Right. In fact, it was my Baby Yoda print, which I was selling gangbusters on. Then someone turned me in, and Disney said, can't do that.
Yeah, well, that's not the best part. I saw this also with someone else turned somebody in. You want to tell them what that was, Eric?
Well, Etsy sent me the email of the Disney lawyers. So of course, I'm kind of aggravated because I'm making money here. So I emailed them. I said, okay, I don't understand why you chose me out of hundreds, thousands of other Baby Yoda and Mandalorian stuff here on Etsy that's selling, because I see them. I still see all the pages out there. They're still there. Mine's not. Well, they came back. Well, I mean, we could reevaluate it, but if you'd like to turn those people in for us, we might be able to help you out. Like, oh. So they wanted me to be a rat for the mouse.
Oh my. Hey, Brian, I hope you don't mind. I'm adding this to the chat. Here we go.
All right.
I think you want that.
Beautiful. Thank you. I was
there you go.
I was about to ask if you would. You're an awesome co-host, my friend.
Now, if Brian would start making people mods on the YouTube side, they could post links for him.
Yeah, I've been told that by your brother.
I know.
And if he stays, you see, at the time he made the offer, it's like, what's the use? I've only got 11 people on my YouTube channel, but now I have 80. So we're climbing slowly. So if anyone wants to do a search for Brian K. Morris on YouTube, and you'll see a collection of recent Nevermind the Furthermores, our morning talk show, as well as Clever Title Pending. And we're going to also start a channel, not a channel, but a playlist with some of our extra appearances, including one that the aforementioned one with Eric Hawkins and Andy Shaggy Cordy. We have some more comments here. Cindy Cap wants to know, was Dorothy a good actress? Yes, she brought the house down. 2, 3, 4. And what did Dorothy sing after she slipped? Somewhere over the sprained toe. Anyway, that's all you'll get out of me.
Here's another one.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mickey came after me for my podcast showing a 15-second clip of Snow White, says Matthew Harris. See, I can believe that, because I remember this was about 7 or 8 years ago. Disney went after a daycare center because they put in their ads that they had showed pictures of one of the workers there had painted images of Mickey Mouse and other Disney characters up on the wall, and the mouse did not like it.
And then Warner Brothers came in and let them use Bugs Bunny and all that, if I remember correctly.
Right, yeah, good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Geek Insider, who we love. Hello, Brian, Christian, and Eric. Thank you for being part of Indie Event. Well, thank you for allowing us to be here. It is a genuine privilege. And also, people are taking care of me. I appreciate this. There is...
Don't be me, silly.
Okay, it's you. It's Christian. It's
you just say, well, if you bring the link, and I'm running here with the link.
See, I didn't even see his hands move, which was, leave it alone, Christian. Anyway, and there is my YouTube presence. We have 80 people as of this morning. We'd love it if you were one of them. Like I said, we got plans for that page. Plans, I tell you. But this isn't my hour. This is Eric's here. So, Eric, what you're using this public domain, Oz, IP. Do you have other public domain characters that you would like to do one day?
Yeah, I've looked at some of the public domain characters, and I don't know. I mean, really, a lot of them are Oz characters. I mean, in issue 2, I've brought in the Hungry Lion, or Hungry Tiger.
Right.
He wasn't in the first issue, and there's so many characters in Oz that I can use. Which I've designed quite a few. I've designed 3 original characters for the Oz book. That one was you only saw if you bought the studio edition of issue 1. There was 1 page of a Crosswalker in there, but he was not in the regular book. Nobody else has seen him. I don't think he was in any of the PDFs I sent out, but he will show back up in issue 3.
Well, there you go. See that?
I'm waiting for Superman and Batman to go public domain. Then I'll jump on them.
Oh, dude, you're getting the first call if Superman goes public domain. Man, I've had plans for the 1938 Superman for years. Cindy Cap says so many creators consider schools and education fair use. The mouse will go after schools to the tune of 10K per instance. Man. That's very true. It's a shame. Carl Witzman, I am glad that I stay away from the mouse and only use videos of drunken Japanese bikini models in my show, and everyone now is going, what's that? Anyway, and the ones you found of that girl are not the worst ones you could show. Trust me, I did a little research. Anyway, Sarah says, how does Disney catch so much? Do they have troops everywhere? OMG. Well, they have people. No, I'm not saying Eric has sold his soul.
I have not ratted out anyone yet. But no, I haven't. But I'm sure. I mean, someone had to rat me out. I mean, I don't know who. I mean, I also said in the email, I said, okay, my art's a lot better than what you guys have been publishing. So if you want to hire me, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, they didn't fall for that one.
Well, it's a good tactic. I remember, like back in the 70s, you had the phone freaks who would use the Captain Crunch whistle in the cereal box and make like transatlantic telephone calls with it, and they wound up hiring all these guys who were like any of the hackers that that get into their system, and then they make sure nobody else can do it. I tell you, somebody should hire Eric up. Seriously, he should become too good to work for me or with me or whatever. Carl Witzman said, I met Eric at SilCon where he had a booth, and seeing his work brought me to hire him when I needed art. So going to shows and networking helps. And
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
yeah,
No, that would be Belle. That's not Toto, but she looks like Toto.
Oh, there you go.
That must mean someone just got home because she goes nuts like that when someone gets home.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to Sarah's comment, I don't know if you remember, there was an attraction over what used to be the Disney MGM Studios called the Monster Sound Show. And in the pre-show, there used to be David Letterman, and I forgot the guy who made all the noises for Disney animated features back then, really, really back then. And he gave a warning before anybody would go into the theater. He would go, remember, if you break anything, security guards in mouse suits will beat you senseless. We know that was not far from the truth today.
That's true. Now they do worse. They take you to court and sue you out of existence. Maybe the Disney rats get paid or something. Well, it could be. It certainly can't be that they're choking on the milk of human kindness. But anyway, stuff like that. Well, that brings up a question. You mentioned Superman and Batman. If let's say Disney or Warner's came knocking and said, Eric, we'll give you any title that you want to write and or draw from both, one from column A, one from column B. Who would be your choices from DC or Marvel?
Wow. I've always been a huge X-Men fan, but I don't know if I could do a team book. That's just a lot of drawing. Spider-Man, there's too many buildings.
Yeah, I hear you.
Maybe a solo Wolverine book. I wouldn't mind doing Wolverine. I like Wolverine. Definitely for Marvel Wolverine. DC. I've always been a Marvel boy, but I do like DC characters. DC characters are more iconic to the public. But I was always a Marvel person. DC. Oh, Superman's really cool, but
well, let me add this on top of this, Eric. What was your gateway drug into comics? What
G.I. Joe.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Cool.
G.I. Joe number 11. Larry Hama.
I'm not familiar with the G.I. Joe comics. What was that story about?
Oh, geez, the comic was much better than the cartoon. I mean, it ran for
160 issues,
something like that. Yeah. I mean, it was written beautifully. Larry Hammond did a great job on the early issues, and I started with issue 11. That was the first book I picked up in a comic book store or a comic book store. I didn't know there was comic book stores for years. On a newsstand, I think it was at a gas station. I bought it. But man, I love those books. I mean, he even did issue 21 where it was just there's no verbiage in it. I mean, there's no dialogue. It's a silent issue.
Oh,
and it's probably one of my most favorite comic books. That and Spider-Man's Kraven's Last Hunt is my favorite story arc through a comic book. But G.I. Joe, I mean, it was totally different than the cartoon. It was more serious. And but they never killed anyone for the longest time. Occasionally characters would die, then they started killing them off left and right in a few issues. But it was a lot better than the cartoon.
Well, the cartoon kept jumping the shark, and I think there was that one time where they went into that multiverse, where they went into a different dimension, and I was just like, "What the hell is this?"
I totally forgot about that. I saw that the other day where
they went where the Baroness. They went into this other dimension where the Baroness was good, and they were helping. She was helping the Joes. I'm like, and then we had deaths for the first time, I think, in that series because they were stuck in that other dimension. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's a thing now.
And since the Baroness's Steeler, who was her boyfriend, had died, the Steeler stayed and Clutch stayed. I think Breaker stayed in that universe and didn't come back. I was like, I don't even remember seeing that as a kid, but I know I watched them all, but I must have shut that one completely out.
This is the way for the toy manufacturers to go. We're taking those people offline. We're going to bring in a new set. Then we're going to bring in the Zartans and all those guys.
Well, that's one of the strange things about G.I. Joe and Hasbro. Hasbro produces all these toys because they get the licensing for Star Wars, Marvel. They are Hasbro, or G.I. Joe is their property, and they haven't had G.I. Joe until recently, a toy for a while, which
Yeah.
I got Snake Eyes right up here. I just bought 6-inch Snake Eyes, and that was one of the things I liked about the comic book over the cartoon. Snake Eyes was the most popular character, and he always had a story arc.
Right.
I mean, you had his history. Him and Scarlet were boyfriend girlfriend. They were a couple through the whole thing. I mean, it was deep based, compared to the cartoon.
Hey, this is a man who still reeks on Hasbro because they took the Transformer movie and killed off all of my Transformers. And I'm like, I've got these useless toys in my room right now. I can't do this.
I cried when Optimus Prime died.
Oh, right here, bro, right here. How dare you? And then bring him back and kill him again. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still have my Refrigerator Perry G.I. Joe figure. Just to
did you mail in for it?
No, somebody actually gifted it to me. That
I was collecting the flag points. Yeah, I was collecting the flag points from the toys then, and I mailed in for him, Sergeant Slaughter, the Hooded Cobra Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was there? I think Major Blood originally was a mail-in.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. And let's see. And I think we got a new comment here. Eric has a 6-inch Snake Eye. Oh, Sarah.
I do. I have a 6-inch Snake Eyes.
Sarah, I love you, but can you just put the innuendos out to the side out of there?
Yeah.
There's not one comment. You just cannot. And maybe you didn't even mean it, but it still happened the same way.
Yeah. Well, tell us about other toys you have, Eric.
He's got a gun. He shoots. My 6-inch Snake Eyes shoots.
Oh my god.
Pew pew pew. Anyway, so
we were talking about comic books, by the way.
Yeah, I know we were. Yeah, how do we get onto this real fast? Thanks, Sarah.
So G.I. Joe was my entry into comic books, and then my mom used to work at a convenience store, and when comic books came in damaged, they ripped off the covers of them and gave them to her. She'd bring them home to me, and I had some some comic books I really liked. I didn't collect them when I started collecting books. Was a Metalman, DC's Metalman. I really liked that when I'd get those.
Yeah, I remember that series. It was like from the people who killed Superman. It was the same editorial and art team, so they built it from the same people that killed Superman. And Sarah said she is laughing at our expense. She mocks us with her laughter and says, "You're welcome. We love you, Sarah. We really do." So, if anybody has any more questions, we still have about 10 minutes or so left in this broadcast. Christian got. Oh, let's see. Hold on. What we got something here. Just came in, and Cindy Cap wants to know: is your Zombiful Oz artwork based on the book descriptions?
Actually, some of the characters are. My Tin Man is totally original. I kind of went off the rails with him. The Lion, he's more of a pirate, but like the witch, even though she's dead, I did design a witch character, and she wears an eye patch just like the character in the book did. Dorothy isn't blonde, but she's blonde in the books, but I still made her a brunette. And TikTok, he's kind of based on, he's not in the books yet, but I do have the designs for him. Who else? The Gnome King, I've designed him more based on the books. Most of the characters I have based on the books. The main characters I've kind of varied off to make my own creations of.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Well, in making decisions like the color of Dorothy's hair and creating a pirate out of another classic character, what was your thinking behind that?
Well, the hair color, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even notice it was blonde in the books, even though I'd read the books. I just didn't even notice until recently. Like, oh man, because I haven't read all the books, but I've listened to all the books. It's easier to do when you're working. And the pirate is based on, because it's a steampunk book. It's very steampunk influence. So that he's got a flying airship. Mm-hmm. The yellow-bellied plunder kitten.
I love
is
that
the name of the ship. And that was a tier level on my Kickstarter. You get to name the pirate's airship or the lion's airship, and that was what someone chose. Now I like it too, so it's really cool. But most of the characters' designs are influenced on steampunk, which basically, the Wizard of Oz was steampunk based on the designs originally. I mean, it's kind of a steampunk influenced story in the first place.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I see. Well, are you planning a Kickstarter for number 3 already, or are you going to wait till you're a little further in production?
Well, I'm always planning a Kickstarter. I don't know what I'll offer with it, other than I do know I've already worked on the cover, and it's the first cover I've traditionally penciled in a long time. So I will offer up the artwork for a couple pages that I'm going to traditionally pencil, which I usually work digital now. But it's fun to still draw traditionally, and I'm doing the cover right now. I've done some new character designs traditionally. I'm going to offer some original pages that are traditionally drawn this time.
Oh, very cool, very cool. And let's, Christian, would you put up again the link to Eric's campaign right now? There's still 11 hours left? Or 10 hours.
I can make
the clock 10.
Oh, I'll look. I got it on my other screen here. That's why I keep looking up. I got my big screen right here. I can read the comments better than I can on my phone right here.
Yeah.
I still got 12 hours left. I'll have 11 hours left in 9 minutes.
There we go. So before it turns into 11 hours, seriously, I cannot stress enough. This is a fantastic book, seriously. And I say that even when Eric's not here. That it's very imaginative. It is a really fresh take, and Eric has gotten the best compliment in the world from Billy Tucci. Do you want to detail that? The background of that?
Yeah, so I was on their show last year promoting the first Kickstarter, and which is crowdfunding comics, but they've rebranded the show. I think it's Pop XP now.
Right.
Niall Scala and Billy Tucci. I was on there. They were interviewing me. I sent them digital copies of the book because the book was done when I started my crowdfunding. And Billy Tucci said that he liked it so much it made him mad that he didn't think of it.
What better?
I was like, all right.
Yeah, I just peeved off Billy Tucci. Yeah, yay me.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sarah says, how cool to include people in part of a comic for crowdfunding. That's a huge motivator for getting people to shell out more money. Or did I hear that wrong about the Lion's ship? No, you did not.
No, that is true. A lot of crowdfunding projects will offer you to be drawn into the comic book. So I offered this time. I offered, I believe it was 5. I limited it because I don't like drawing likenesses. Not really good at drawing likenesses sometimes, so I don't do it often. So I offered.
Oh my god! Now I just had this evil thought of a crowdfunding that starts off from zero base, like crowdfunding. We're starting a comic book. There's no story. There's no characters. But how much of a level tier you pay for? Like you pay this amount of money, you will be the main character. If you pay this amount of money, you'll be one of the minor characters. And then you, at certain tiers, you write the story. Like where's the story go? Where is it taking place? I'm just like completely crowdfunded by money. It's just like, well, you will have a chance to make this story by that time.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
That would be neat.
I didn't have to write anything. I just had to write and draw it. That's it.
That would be righteous. I'm thinking of actually doing a book like that. In fact, I want to say Eric gave me the idea, but it's like on another clever title pending. We just open up the chat like we're doing here, and everyone comes out and says a line. That follows the line. It's kind of like a round robin thing where, somebody says a line, we get them out of there, then the next person has to come in, give a line to follow that one, then I'll transcribe it and put it into a book.
Don't put me in. I'll put butt beer anywhere and somewhere.
Butt beer. Hashtag butt beer.
Butt beer is going to be in the book. Eric, because we're closing up there, between pencil and digital, what are the pros and cons of each that you find?
Speed, definitely. Speed is a major thing. Only because if you're doing traditionally, you're penciling, you're erasing, you're moving stuff. I mean, you have to erase and redraw stuff. Digitally, you can move that stuff around on the fly. If you didn't draw the head the right size, you don't have to redraw the whole thing. You just circle it with a lasso and expand it. But then you come in with your inks. Inking, and also it's cheaper. Initially, it is cheaper after you get your monitor you draw on and all that stuff. Or if you're drawing on a tablet, you're not paper's expensive, ink's expensive,
Yeah.
lead's expensive. I mean, but I do it for ease because I color digitally anyway, so it's I don't have to scan. I mean, because if you're doing comic books, you're drawing at 11 by 17, which is a huge size, which is downsized to 6.25 by 10.5, something like that. So you have to have a large format scanner as well, which I do have. When it worked, where'd Brian go?
Exactly. Like,
bye, Brian. Good talking to you.
And if you're just joining us, I have no fez. Welcome to Clever Title Pending. My name is Brian K. Morris. I do make comics. This is an awesome guy right here, Eric Hawkins. So you have to check out. I will put up his link again. You've got to check out wow, I've been having that kind of morning. Been doing podcasts. I've been doing.
Well, it sounded so good in my head originally, but exactly. I have trouble saying it. I mean,
the zombie
fool. Yeah. I have trouble saying it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the Zombie World of Oz on Indiegogo today. You're down to the 11th hour. Issue 1 and 2 are available. A 44-page book for issue 2. 4 pages written by Brian K. Morris as a backup story of Dorothy in the insane asylum.
Why would you do
how
that?
horrible she is treated.
Why would you desecrate that book? So, wow. Yes, we got a few minutes left there. And of course, please go to the Indiegogo campaign, indiegogo.com/projects. Zash. I'm making up my own words. This is the kind of day I've had. The Zombiful World of Oz hashtag. Please, if you check it out in the hashtag, if you check, website, Eric. That's why he left me. He was going like, let's see if Christian can do it better than I can.
He just ran away, didn't he?
I think there were some storms in his area, but
he did say that, yeah.
I don't mind taking over, but I was just like, I didn't think that this was going to be a thing, but I want to. I'm hoping Brian's okay out there. Brian, if you can get a hold of us, just give me a PM or something. Just let me know out there.
I'm sure he's fine.
No one would want to make a line with others to follow. No one knows what will come out of my mind. Sarah, I would follow you anywhere in your dialogue at any given time. I didn't mean to give Brian the jitters. That's from Cindy. Carl Witzman, Brian is doing his show via crowd hosting. Yeah, exactly there. And Sarah, Zash is now a new word. Yes, I did. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Zash.
Zash. Butt beard and dino porn are now something that we have to attribute here. Yeah, Storms looks outside the window all day. Well, Carl, do you live
dino
next
porn? That's definitely a book we should all work on. Dino porn.
I don't know. That sounds like a movie that should never. That sounds like one of those Sci-Fi Channel movies that you hire an '80s icon and bring them back for like 5 minutes to say, "Hey, you do have relevance here. Make a movie out of this." What was it? What was the one with there was Tiffany and Debbie Gibson. There was like alligator, lizard, and tiger shark or something like that. You know what I mean, right?
Was it? No, it wasn't Megalodon. It was
No. It was just some kind of combination of like tiger, lizard, or shark bait or something like that. There. Wait a minute, you're not Ryan. You're an imposter. And what's going on with you? You're a
You're flickering like crazy.
Did Brian give some kind of a virus out there where he's bad?
Yes, I am Brian.
He also looks up dino porn.
You said dino porn, and I was invoked.
I know. Is that it? I said buttbeard earlier. I guess that's not the magical. If I say it 3 times, like what is it? Beetlejuice, you will come. I live west of Brian, and we usually get his weather first. So I'm hoping Brian's okay. I'm sure he is.
He messaged me, which is why I wanted to pop in really quickly. It is the Transformer blew up. He's going to be back online as soon as he can.
Ooh, okay.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But up next is crowdfunding. No, I'm sorry, Kickstarter pause with Rob Anderson, and I believe Matthew Harris is going to be on. Buttbeard, every show is doing it so far. I think I have to check on Melanie. Melanie Dean. I hope you did it. She might be the only show that hasn't done. I don't know. I left a message in the message area. But anyway, so I wanted to let you guys know. You guys can carry on, but we're going to move on to the next show. Okay. And Eric, such a pleasure. I was listening in the background, and
thank you.
I think I've thrown support at your book already. So
Oh, Sarah
I cannot
says
wait
you're a
until-
hologram. I believe it. I totally believe it.
I am a bot. I am
And
not
Sarah's-
a bot.
Sarah, you can make that comic book. Dinosash.porn.com. In fact, you could probably film that movie on Pornhub somewhere along the way. I'm sure that's going to be, number one. Well, anyway, folks, I'm Brian K. Morris. I now have a full set of hair. That's great. No fez, sorry. But I do have a TARDIS behind me. And Brian, if you're out there, I hope you're doing okay.
The young Brian K. Morris. He traveled through time.
Oh, my
And he came back as me.
Do you really want that stigma? Good show, folks. But yeah, we're going to be moving on. So take it away, Meredith, wherever we need to go. Eric, everybody got 11 hours to take care of this man. I want to make sure we get the link back up before we take off there.
Yes,
So,
and Eric, make sure that we've got your links all over the place. We're going to be sharing that out to our network.
Cool.
Hashtag
Thanks.
IndyVent, INDEEVENT, because there is no I in we. That is my story, and I'm sticking with it.
No, there's me and we and team. So
yeah. I think
I give
spelling
great
that
teamwork.
spells meat. I like meat. All right. I'm getting punchy.
You've
It's
been
been a
hanging
really
around
long
with
day.
Sarah too long. Seriously.
All right, you guys. I don't know if you want to end the broadcast. I just wanted to pop in and let you know that Brian is okay.
Well,
it was a transformer in his neighborhood, and up next is Kickstarter Pause with Rob Anderson.
Well, Eric, you have the last word. Anything besides the link we just posted up there? Is there anything else that you would like to tell the folks out there before we go?
Other than my crowdfunding project, back other crowdfunding projects.
Yes.
Go out there, support the indie community. And one of the biggest things you can do to support us as creators, share our projects. You don't have to back it, you don't have to give us money, but at least share it around, because there's people there's closet comic book likers out there, and they need help.
Yes. I didn't want to say they help them come out of the closet, but that was just not where I was going with. That's what popped into my mind. You know what? When I'm driving down the road, I have evil thoughts too, and great stories. But on that note, we're ending this.
All right.
Thank you for joining us. And whatever Brian says, I think he goes, wash your hands and always be awesome, and keep wear your
What's
mask
it?
and wear your condom and wear protection, whatever he says out there.
Always
Thank you,
cover up.
folks. It's coming up. Moving
Thanks,
on.
everybody.
Oh,
Thank you.
stay smart, stay safe, wash your damn hands, and never forget something.
And wear
Never forget
protection
you're awesome.
and
Never
butter,
forget you're
butt beard.
awesome.
Have a great day, folks. Stay safe out there.
Butt beard.
Bye.